Red leather, yellow leather.
So May the 31st. Yeah.
Just kidding. I don't do this. Actually, I think I kind of do.
It's consistent.
I'm not sure anymore if I'm joking or not. I do always have to clear my throat a lot. Like a lot of liquids.
Yeah, you do. Look at this situation he's got going on right here.
Have we started the podcast yet?
Well, I mean, have we ever stopped the podcast? I think that's the bigger question, right?
Yeah, it's stopped before.
Well, the camera's stopped, but you and I don't.
I have a lot of liquids. I'm ready to go.
Yeah?
We're fresh off of the Chicago regional meeting.
Dude,
Just had Memorial Day parade at your house.
It's unbelievable. Every year, Ironton has the continuous longest running Memorial Day parade, and we didn't disappoint again this year.
How did it go?
Well, it went on the same path that it always does, at the same speed that it always does. The difference was that...
How was the weather?
Phenomenal.
Good? It was?
Are you kidding
Awesome.
me? Yeah.
It's good luck.
I thought so. What was your favorite part about the Chicago meeting this year?
Oh, are you kidding me? All of it.
Everything?
The whole thing. It was great.
Yeah?
Great to see everybody. Did any mishaps happen in the parade or anything like that? Or?
No. This year I have no memory of anything going wrong in the Memorial Day Parade 2024.
Went off without a hitch.
To the best of my knowledge.
How about that?
We'll see if it stands the test of time.
One of the best ever.
Well, man, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've got a cup of coffee here made by our friends at Impact Media. Thank you all.
If Impact had a coffee
made the
brand,
mugs.
what do you think they would call it?
High Impact.
High Impact Coffee.
It's a good name, isn't it?
God, it's perfect.
Thank you.
Jeff, before we get too started here, I mean too far into it, there's something that I have to do.
Gosh, hold on a minute. Let me guess. Use the bathroom?
No.
I don't know.
I need to look into this camera, and I need to send a very special thank you to my friend and your mother, Joe Dunlap. The homemade zucchini bread was unbelievable. I would fail to put into words how good it was and how hungry I was when Jeff brought it to me. So, Joe, sincerely, thank you. That didn't just happen on its own. You had to actually go get the stuff and make it. But it was so delicious, and I really, really appreciate you sending it over. So thank you.
Mom, let me tell you about what he did to your zucchini bread, okay? He no more. I couldn't get out of his office before he had half of it eaten.
I did not have a fork. That is important.
Ate it with his fingers, dug in like a mouse into a cake.
It was so good.
And ate half of it right there. I bet Danielle and the kids didn't get a slice.
Not a bite. I would have got criminal charges if I saw them get into it.
And I'm not kidding about that part, actually.
So good.
She gave me one, too. Thanks, Mom. Love you.
Yeah. Hey, happy belated Mother's Day. So, anywho, well, we can't talk about zucchini bread all day, although I would like to. We do have special guests in the studio with us today.
Big time.
Right? Yeah. So, hey, welcome in, team.
Hi, welcome.
Yeah. Hey, so before we get too into it, go ahead and introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do at Village Caregiving.
Okay, I am Fury Kuzma. I am the Director of Operations at Village Caregiving in Dayton, Ohio.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Jamaica. I'm her protege. I am the Assistant Director of Operations of the Dayton office as well.
Awesome.
Round of applause.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, a lot of cool.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So, you've been to the home office before, right?
Not
No.
before
Not
this
before
morning.
today. Okay, but you guys went
No.
by this morning. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And so, first time to Barbersville. Had either of you been to West Virginia before for any reason?
I have never.
You have, but
I
you
have.
haven't. Okay, cool. It's always funny. The executive director from Cheyenne, Wyoming, is in town and said that on her bucket list was to visit West Virginia.
Really?
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of cool. That's always interesting to hear because Wyoming's a cool place too. But anyhow,
Well, if you're that far away, it probably sounds pretty exotic, right?
Yeah.
I take it
Yeah.
for granted, of course. But how are you liking West Virginia for the first time?
It's very pretty. I
It is
didn't
pretty.
expect it to be this. Honestly, when I saw the coal and the trains coming, I said, see, now this is what I picture. But then, like, I look to my left and, like, there's beautiful, like, you see the beautiful hills, you see the beautiful trees, you see the rain on top of the mountains. See, I I have the experience with the Rocky Mountains. I used to live in Colorado.
Oh, wow.
And I've never seen trees on mountains until I came here.
Yeah.
Well, I visited Gatlinburg with my family, but it's not as beautiful as this.
Yeah, did you go to Dollywood when you were there by chance?
I did not get a chance to. They were shut down when we went. There were multiple rides being built by the time we were getting ready to go. And it was bad weather.
He just wants to talk about Dollywood.
Had you said yes, we would have not had anything else to talk about on the
Well,
podcast.
I love Dolly Parton.
See?
So
There's that.
Oh, everybody
I love
does.
what she does for the youth. It's wonderful.
Same.
That's not why he likes it.
Nope.
You want to know what his dream job is in life?
This is unfortunate.
I do
Is
want to know.
it a plastic surgeon?
If you think it's a president's role at VCG,
I get the connection, but no.
It took me a minute.
that was good.
You remember when Whitney from Portsmouth was on and she gave the answer to the Dear Abby that neither of us expected? The answer, did you guess what his dream job is? Plastic surgeon was not on the bingo card.
Any chance you would like to be a plastic surgeon?
No, not at all. But
It's to be one of the tram car operators at Dollywood.
yeah.
You heard that right. I thought I misspoke, but I didn't.
No.
And why?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. So, when I was a kid, we would go there often, and you would get on the tram and say, "Tram stop E," and the guy would kick on the microphone. You would get on the tram, and he would just start introducing you to the park, and he would just like welcome you in, like you were family. And then when you would leave, they would be on there and be like, "Hey, if you get out to your car and it don't start, don't worry, head back to tram stop E. We'll wait on you. We don't go home till you do." I'm like, what? The kindest things you could say to people, right? Like, you're not bothering me. Get over here, Gary. I'll help you get that car going. And I just always thought, you know what? If man can make a living doing that, I would do it. So anyways, yeah.
What do you think of that, Fury?
I mean, I think that's a great reason. I would have never thought that was your dream job, but why aren't you doing that now?
That's a good question because a man can't make a living doing that.
Well, I think it's just, I can hear you over an intercom.
Yeah, thank you.
Like if I'm walking through Kings Island, I can hear Aaron over the intercom,
Right?
like saying any and everything, even if it doesn't make any sense sometimes. But I think that'll be a good job for you.
Well, thank you.
Well, so West Virginia is a beautiful place and it has really, really kind, nice people. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. And he's an Ohio guy too, so
Yeah,
I'm
I am.
outnumbered here, even though I'm in my home turf.
Yeah. We could do an OHIO real quick for you, but
Oh,
we won't.
yeah.
Let's see.
No. So we'll start. So you spent some time in Colorado. Where are you from? Are you originally from the Dayton area?
I am from Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
I did get married, and my husband was a service member,
I see.
Air Force.
Yeah.
So the first duty station was supposed to be Ramstein, Germany, but COVID happened,
I see.
and the United States, oh my God, USAFA is the base name. It's the Air Force Academy.
Okay.
So like all your cadets are there. There's a private section of the base you can't go to unless it's private access. I had the wonders of working there.
Okay.
I was running the Dunkin' Donuts for the college kids there. So everybody knew me. I knew how everybody's coffee was supposed to be made.
No wonder
whenever
you're so picky about coffee.
yeah. I sit there and I used to test everything. But Colorado was definitely the experience that I never thought that I would get. They are not nice people. They drive very terrible. My freaking car insurance skyrocketed once I put in my new address.
Wow.
So I went from paying like $200 a month for car insurance to $450.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
Things get wild in
it
Colorado.
was bad. Yes.
Well, they did pioneer the way on legal marijuana. Maybe people were impaired behind the wheel.
Probably, yeah.
that.
But yeah.
How long were you there?
I was there for 2 years.
Wow. Okay.
Things
So that's
did
cool.
not work out. I moved back here and, found my way to her.
Yeah.
Should you issue an apology to the state of Colorado real quick, or you think we're good?
No,
it was real. Let's leave it.
Yeah.
at
It was real. Yeah, it was definitely real.
they probably know it. People say stuff about Ohio. I'm like, no, I get that. So, yeah.
Okay, sure.
Colorado, keep your chin up, is what I'd say.
Oh, it's held high.
I love Colorado.
It's definitely held high.
Keep doing you, Colorado.
Stay pretty.
Yeah.
Stay pretty.
For everything.
Yeah, for all of our Colorado listeners, we have a big following.
It's definitely,
Yeah.
Head is definitely.
I got you. Well, all right. So, how about you? Are you from Ohio originally? How did you end up in Dayton?
Yeah, I've always lived in Ohio, but Northeast Ohio.
Nice. What
So
town?
Youngstown. So kind of halfway in between Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And ended up in Dayton, Ohio in 2018 for work. Not with Village Caregiving.
Yeah.
A different company.
Okay.
So came here then, and then COVID kind of happened. So didn't really know the Dayton area still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of work did you go to Dayton for?
I worked for an assisted living, a senior living company for over 20 years, the same company.
Oh, so that's where you came
Yeah,
to
that's where I
Village
came from
Okay.
Village.
I didn't know if
yeah.
there was a one before that. God,
Nope.
20 years.
Well,
same
I mean,
place.
jobs I did in like high school. But
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
What was your first job you ever had?
Ooh, good question.
I did it for one day. I worked for a dog groomer, bathing dogs. Yeah, I love dogs, love cats, love animals, love pets. Cannot bathe them though. Cannot. Was not good at
One
it.
day?
One day.
One day.
Said that's enough.
Yeah, and I think the guy was glad too. I don't think I did very good.
We're back from a quick edit. I now understand why Fury had to quit that dog grooming job after only one day. It was due to issues with anal glands.
Yeah. Again,
Let's move on.
On the bingo card of words that we could use on a podcast, I didn't see that one coming up either. So.
No, but I'll say what, Fury, good job. Good
Yeah.
You made a good choice. What was your next job? I can't stop now.
I actually worked for a banquet hall. My mom was a cook there on weekends, so weddings, graduation parties, loved it.
That sounds better.
Yeah,
That is way
I did.
different.
I loved it.
Yeah.
What's the grossest part of that job? Somebody they partied too hard at the wedding and barfed.
The older gentleman that partied too hard, I would have to say, or even I don't know. But honestly, like looking back, it was a great time in my life. My friends all worked there. Like,
Yeah.
we stayed out of trouble on weekends going to work there. It was fun.
My first job was along with Ben Keenan. We had a lawn care business.
What did you guys call it?
I don't think it had a name.
What would you call it?
We would call it, I'm going to think outside the box here.
Yeah.
You want it to be catchy.
Ooh.
I would have probably called it, Ricky Tick Lawn Care. Because we get to your house most Ricky Tick.
Absolutely. That's not bad.
Yeah. You know what? I walked around in the yards there mowing a lot, and I would step in some of the expressed anal glands. That was the worst part of my job, too.
Yep.
That is the worst part when you show up and you just got to track dog poop all over the place. You want to talk about village caregiving or just
I don't know.
probably best to leave it out at this point? Maybe nobody will know what's going on. We could.
Yeah. Was Dunkin' Donuts your first job?
No, it was not.
What was yours?
My first job was Route 21 at the Dayton Mall.
Yeah.
I worked there for about 2 weeks before I walked past Journey's shoe store.
Yeah.
And the store manager was freaking out. He's like, oh my God, like she really just quit like right there? So he was like, yeah, she's not coming back. And then he's like, hey, sell me this pen.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I'm not kidding you. He's like, sell me this pen. So I said,
You were a random passerby.
yep,
in the
his
mall.
name was Sam. He had the jitters all the time. He was always on edge. He's like, here, sell me this pen. And I'm like, okay. So I'm just saying any and everything. I'm like, do you see how it writes?
It's a good pen.
It's a metal pen.
Yeah.
You can close it when you twist it.
Look at all those features.
He's just like, when can you start? I did so poorly on this interview. I was not prepared.
Whoa.
So I started like 2 days later, and he had all these requirements of what I had to do. how I had to sell.
Yeah.
Teaching me how to sell. And I felt like the most annoying salesperson as he was trying to tell me, I'm like, I'm not going to mess with these people like that. And he's basically like begging me to like beg these people to buy stocks. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it like that. No. But I can say I became the best salesperson working at Journeys ever. I can tell your shoe size just by looking at your foot. Like that is...
What now that the experience, what would have been the key to selling that pen?
The key to selling the pen would have just been to be honest about it. Just be honest about the pen. Know the background of the pen. Who created the pen? The reason the pen was created. You know, design is everything, but, you know, the structure of the pen is even better. Like, is this pen going to fall apart when I squeeze it too hard to write? Is it going to go out within a couple of, you know, words of me writing it? Like, you have to be honest about it all, or it's going to come back and bite you. Because you can sell the heck out of that pen, but are they going to return it because it's not, you know, it's not what they thought it would be?
Honesty, authenticity.
Yeah.
And resorts back to village caregiving's special phrase.
God, you
do
put a
the
bow
right
on it.
thing.
Just do the right thing.
I wonder what you would have had to say to Sam to not get that job that day.
Nothing, because he was already gonna give it to me. It was written
yours.
all over his face.
Yeah.
It was written all over his face.
He knew that the weekend was coming. He was going to have to cover those shifts.
Yes, he did.
Jamaica didn't
He
come
did.
through.
Yes, he did.
He's like, please just let her say anything in this job. Yeah.
I was 16. I was old enough. Come on,
Yeah.
come on.
When I walked into Wendy's, Glenda offered me a job, and I went home like I just landed like a job on Wall Street, not realizing that they would have hired me had I not been able to speak or see or walk. Like they were just like, hey, we got someone with a pulse, get in here. But I left there feeling righteous. Yeah, you grow up. So anyways, well, cool. So village caregiving Dayton specifically. Some would call it the crown jewel of Ohio. If you're
I
from
would
Dayton.
call it that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're from
would.
Dayton, you would definitely call that. Boy, would we have a handful of other offices get mad about that.
She's from Youngstown. That's the crown jewel.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Okay,
we
got
moved
it.
the crown jewels.
Okay.
I'm now in Dayton.
Yeah, it's at Wright Patterson now. That is the extent of my Dayton knowledge. So, yeah.
We got to get serious.
Well, you know, we were Will and I, Will Shills and I, were driving to South Bend, Indiana, a couple weeks ago, and our direction took us around Dayton. And as we did the western loop around Dayton to head north, we were looking downtown. I pointed where the office is there in the building and stuff, and we were talking. Dayton is a sleeper of a city for Ohio. I mean, you guys have a big downtown. There's a big skyline. There's all kinds of cool stuff as you went by, but you just don't hear a lot about Dayton. And honestly, you know, village caregiving, Dayton is kind of the same way, right? Like you guys kind of get lost in the shuffle with Cleveland or Columbus or Cincinnati and these things, but you guys have been just a cornerstone of the Ohio operations for village caregiving. Dayton came on and works with the Cincinnati office, right? But boy, you guys have quickly moved to the front of just being a powerhouse within the state. What is going so well in Dayton that allows that story to be told?
I think it's the office efficiency, the chemistry with all of us in the office. Well, first it started off with Fury and I. Before we became coworkers, we became friends. And, you know, if you can work together every single day with someone in such a small space, like, you know, how we were at the Green, we were literally sitting like this. We had a closet as an office,
Yeah.
but then it just shows how big we can grow. And now we're walking into an office every day that we can see the entire city from. And that right there just shows how much growth, you know, we have had in the past year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, that's a perfect visual representation. You know, we started off so small with no windows in the office, and now we have these gigantic windows that we can see everything.
Yeah.
It's
Are
like
you
we're
still
on
in the
top of
same-
the city?
Same building though?
The same one you came to, yeah.
Right, just
Yeah.
a different space in that building.
Yeah.
No.
you guys
Well, we
used to
have
be-
two.
So
we
you
have-
weren't. I don't think. Remember when we were at the Green? It was. I don't think you actually made it inside the office. It was when I first started, when it was just me and Philip.
The green.
At the shopping center.
It kind of
Okay,
reminds you
yeah.
of Pullman.
Right.
Yeah.
Where the
It's
old
like an
one was.
Easton-y feel. At all.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it was a very
Well, I remember
tiny
that.
space.
Now
yeah.
I was at your office though with the
Yeah, we're
the
still in the
high-rise.
same
Yeah.
room, but now we also have Nina, our registered nurse.
You're still in the same room? Mm-hmm. Man,
we have
that's
2
tight.
Yeah.
You guys need an expansion, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, we have so many people that come in for trainings, and
I'm spending money right now.
yeah, just sitting here.
That was our
Yeah,
whole
pretty
purpose
much.
to come.
Is that why you all came down here?
Yes, yeah.
Live on the air, we're gonna get a new office. Hey, you did it. Good job.
We are starting something. The next guest, you're getting a car.
I gotta watch myself. Well, now you told me I hadn't been there. I've been there.
Yeah, you weren't at the very first. Well, at least you weren't at the first one when we were there.
No,
I
not
think
that.
you
Well, I
might have
came
been
by
there.
one time, but it was on a weekend, and
Yeah.
everybody was busy. But
Yeah, but now we have Nina, our registered nurse, and it's almost like she was with us the whole time. Like she fits in. We're like,
awesome.
Nina's
don't know.
cool. I met her in Columbus at the regional meeting, and she won Andy Hess's trivia contest.
She did.
yeah,
That was a room of
the
75
newcomer
people.
just coming in and
Yeah.
winning.
Yeah, and sweeping it.
How about that?
That's what happened. She came right in, and Dayton just started winning. Like, I feel like that was the perfect match. Like me coming back from maternity leave and then just meeting Nina, we hit it off. Ask Fury, we hit it right off. Like,
How cool.
we all fit so well together. I couldn't have asked for a better team. I really couldn't.
Just your personalities. You have common interests, or
well,
do you have different personalities?
We're all
that go
very,
well?
very, very different. Very different. But we do have common interests, and, we have a common job.
You fill each other's gaps. Makes a good team.
Pretty much. That's
Yep.
a perfect way to put it.
Yeah, and then Philip Massidi is a director of Dayton too, and does he come from Cincinnati? I'm guessing.
He tries
On
to
a
make it
regular
up a couple
basis.
times a month. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a lot going on in Dayton. It sounds like we need to go shop for a bigger office. I'm committed to that now.
Yep.
Well, you've earned it.
Yeah, honestly,
had tremendous
done
success,
done
and
a
you guys are
fantastic
awesome.
job.
Yeah.
How's Medicaid going for you guys? How's state funded stuff? That's the passport expansion. The state of Ohio has been something that's been in
Yeah.
the news throughout the state.
It's definitely been busy, but it's been great and very fulfilling.
Yeah.
I mean, we're now getting clients who these case managers have been trying to find a home health company who would service them for months.
Yeah.
And then we kind of step in there and we're taking them. It's like, just they're so full of gratitude for us.
I was on a call the other day with a case manager in a different state, and we were kind of dealing with a communication challenge that was existing because our systems weren't communicating very well. And in the middle of it, she just stopped and she said, "Hey, I need to say something before we go any further." She's like, "We couldn't do this without you guys." She's like, "We have a lot of agencies, but we could not do what we're doing without you guys. And I need you to know, even though there's challenges and stuff, you got to know that." Mm-hmm. And I remember that particular state. I remember it being on basically a dream board at Village Caregiving a couple years ago, where we didn't have a human working for us or being serviced by us within 200 miles of that place. And now we have case managers there saying, like, this isn't possible without you guys. And so when we have a state like Ohio where we're able to expand to a payer source that allows folks that are in a financial situation that wouldn't allow them to get this care without it being state funded. Not something I've talked about on the podcast before, but my grandmother actually was a recipient of the Passport program, the Homemaker program. She lived in a senior tower, an income-based senior tower, and through that program, my grandmother was able to remain independent until she passed away. And if it wasn't for the Passport program, I'm not certain exactly how that would have played out for my grandmother in her final years. So it has been a huge passion project for us to make sure that Passport expands to all 88 counties in Ohio. And Dayton remains at the top of the list as a frontier in that you guys embrace that program on day one and have done a tremendous job with Kristen rolling that out through your area and through the entire state. But you've been in a situation where you've been with us for, really day one in Dayton, and then you coming on not long after that. How different is it to be able to say yes now to a group of folks that we've not been able to say yes to for so long?
I mean, it's so fulfilling personally. even just stemming from like my other job, being able to help keep people at home. And it's not just people who have the funding or the veterans benefits, like now, or the money themselves financially, but these people who need the help, they want to stay at home, and they live in these areas where there's like not really any other companies that want to service them. And we're going in there, and not even that too, being able to give jobs to people who want to stay in their hometown and work.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so fulfilling for me personally, not just professionally. Like, I can't even describe it.
It's awesome.
Was that a cue for me to jump in there?
I'll keep going.
Okay.
What is all the stuff that you brought with you today? What have we?
I've been trying to figure out what that
I got a
book
lot
is.
going on there.
Yeah, we're all.
He
one.
chose between 2 different books. You didn't see that part?
No.
I did.
No.
I brought a couple. Well, okay. You want to do a book recommendation?
Is it time for a book recommendation? Mm-hmm. Man, yeah, I always love your book recommendations.
I really like that graphic that Austin's made up there with my face on that book. Thanks, bud. This is a book by Mario Vargas Llosa,
Okay.
South American author. This
That
is
book-
called Aunt Julia and the Scriptwriter.
That book's been read a couple times. You can tell by it.
You bet. This was a gift from my father and mother-in-law. I can't say too much about it because it kind of spoils it a little bit. It's fiction, obviously. My theory, you got to alternate nonfiction with fiction. So I don't just come on here and recommend anything but just business books. So this is set in Peru.
Okay.
There is the scriptwriter is hired to write soap operas for the radio. And everything begins to devolve out of control from there. It's one of my favorite books.
Really?
You're not going to get this recommendation anywhere else. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Wow. That
You
sounds
wanna
like.
see it again? Can't see it.
No, I don't. Yeah, don't ruin it. I was reading a book about Elon Musk not long ago, and his quote in that book said that he likes to take the fiction out of science fiction. Huh?
Just assume that this is the future and it's nonfiction.
Well, more so that he the science fiction of going to Mars. He
Yeah.
just wants to be able to go to Mars, and then it's no longer fiction. It's just science, right?
Yeah, in the future. I don't
I
think
mean-
we're doing any of this stuff now.
Some of it's in the present. Neuralink or
You
whatever.
don't happen to have a podcast together, do you?
Well, it's odd that you would say that.
You and Fury and Jamaica have a podcast too?
Yeah,
Kidding me.
yeah.
Let's see how you handle this. This is advice column stuff, and you guys are going to be on the spot to answer it.
You
I
guys
have
Uh-oh.
butterflies.
no. The way that you answered the plastic surgery question earlier, you're going to be excellent at this segment, I assure you.
Here's the thing. I haven't read any of these either. I normally kind of scan through them and pick
Yeah.
one that makes some sense, but this is grab bag time. Ready?
Yeah, let us know what
I'm
you
going
have.
to give you a choice. Number 1, 2, or 3. Which door do you want?
2.
Okay, here goes. I work in social media on a digital media team. There are 2 strategists on the digital team. Their jobs are to help strategize. I think that was pretty obvious. Yeah.
Their strategery, as Bush would say.
Yeah, their jobs are to help strategize, and my job is to manage and create content. One of the strategists has free range deciding when and how he will participate. For example, I'm responsible for managing the video content on our TikTok channel. At a meeting, this coworker announced we would introduce a weekly stream of video content that is not a good fit and does not align with the strategy I've been developing. Further, this coworker has never produced a video, so I'm not sure what role he would play. He becomes the de facto project manager of many of his ideas, directing those who have the skills to do the work. This, however, is still exhausting.
Oof.
His ideas are endless. If I did address this, how should I? Signed, Anonymous. All right, podcasters.
Okay. Well, this is pretty easy.
How do you address that?
Yeah, this brings us back to one that we've talked about before on our own show, where you have a person with a lot of vision, the big idea guy.
Your podcast is called...
You can tell him. It's fine. We're on air.
Jamaica Fury and Aaron's podcast.
We couldn't really settle on one, and so we came up with that one.
Well, it's
We
called
needed it pretty
OH.
quick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get it. Just... All right, what do you do?
Okay. So quick recap. We have the big strategy guy. He's got all the ideas, but this lady isn't a fan of his ideas, clearly.
Yeah, they don't even align with the
Yeah,
strategy.
and he's
directing people that know how to do the work, maybe overstepping.
He's
you need to
messing
have
with
a
her
conversation.
TikTok.
How do you address it?
Yeah. What do you...
You're going to put me on here, huh?
Yeah, you go ahead
Yeah,
and
I
go
am.
first. This is easy. We got this.
Social media company. One of you guys didn't write this in, did
Yeah, this is all about Garrett. You know it is.
you? Yeah.
Big idea Garrett. That's
Let's-
what we call him.
Spencer, did you write into the New York Times about Garrett?
Sounds a lot like some stuff you said.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, he said this sounds like something you said off the record, huh?
You know, Garrett's not in here. We can say anything.
Yeah.
He's not going to watch this.
No.
Okay, I bought you a minute there.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, let them know, make them think I'm interested. Just that once, pull
Bait
them to
him
the
in.
side and it's like, hey, I heard about that idea you had back there. Let me hear it, in confidence. And then you say, you listen to it and you hear it. And then you're like, well, we have all the resources here, right? We have, the cameraman, we have, the audio guy, the person that's really speaking and knows what's happening. And then, we need like a little bit of structure. So help me come up with a way to come up with a structure that we can all be able to do our jobs and make everything a lot easier
Yeah.
than just throwing out ideas.
You got the idea. Yeah.
Put it an example of, how the IT guys can do their job and versus, us, we're just directors. We're supposed to be on the front line. Your phone's ringing. Where is it? Go get it. Like, assigning the role. You have to assign the role. You can't know,
bad.
you don't know what you're going to do if you don't assign the role. So that's what had to happen with her and I in the office. She's doing everything. Well, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
What do you want my role to be? And I'll handle it. You just have to know your role. Play your part.
Clarify some boundaries. This is a boundary issue is all this is. Communication and boundary. If you're where you fall out on this.
Honestly, I don't know. I want to see if I can choose option number 1 now.
No.
No, I don't. There's tons of people with lots of ideas that don't know how to put them into action. I mean, I think that's what it sounds like she was frustrated with, if I'm totally understanding that correctly. But I don't know. I agree a lot with what Jamaica said.
It was a confusing question.
It was
wasn't
very confusing.
I'm not even
It's
sure I
just
know
too
what I
much
read.
detail
Very
in the question,
confusing.
like in the scenario, it's way too much detail and it throws you off. Like, okay, where is this going? You stop listening for a second and then you come back in and it's like, oh my God, it's still going. But like, I picked up on what you were gonna, what you were saying as you were saying it, even though it took you like 2 minutes longer to ask.
Yeah, right. I mean, the answer should just say, huh? No, the question is basically, how do you have a tough conversation with somebody? That's nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah, I have my job, you have your job, but you keep trying to do my job in these hostage takeover deals in the conference room when you throw out your big ideas. How do we stop doing these things?
Yes. Ignore the fact that Spencer sent this about Garrett. Just
Yeah,
take it
and
as
I
a
know.
general question. Right.
But when you apply it to Garrett specifically and knowing his personality is where I'm trying to get with it. And that's what I think greater we need to have a conversation around is how do we improve Garrett as a human, right?
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I'd like to spend the next several minutes just diving into that. But for the sake of this strategy situation, I think that one thing that she could do is she could respond in a situation of let let's reverse roles. In the next meeting, I'm just going to do their job. And then be like, oh, that was a challenge for you? You didn't enjoy that? Well, welcome over here to this side of the room. And we're all like, what are you doing, Gary? Your job's to do this. Why are you doing that? That's pretty petty. That's going to cause some dynamics in the office to change.
Yeah.
My guess is the intentions are right. He has a lot of good ideas, and he's throwing them out there, and people, there's probably a reward mechanism in place that's telling him, hey, keep throwing out those big ideas.
What if it turns out his intentions aren't very pure?
Yeah, workplace
He's a little-
violence. Yeah, that's how you solve that. Then you just, you go in.
Workplace violence.
Yep.
Are you using that young people language again? That's what he's doing, isn't it? He says, like, he uses violence as, like,
Yeah,
that means you go, like, intense on somebody.
Yeah, you
or
chose
something.
violence today.
I see.
Yeah,
See?
that's all that was.
Hey, I knew it, though.
Yeah.
You got Austin. Good. A spit laugh on that. It's good. I like a lot of what Jamaica said because it was agreeable up front. You know,
Yeah.
you came at it from a point of trying to mutual understand. And then step 2 was active listening. Tell me about this idea. You kind of get it engaged. You don't come at it from like a here's what I think mindset. Good start. And then where you guys took it.
Yeah. I like that she got part of the plan, like help me make this plan, because now you're buying into it. I'm not telling you, you're buying in. That felt good.
It's
Well-
not a good idea unless everybody thinks it's a good idea. You have to make them think it's a good idea, which means you have to pull from every perspective to figure out how the idea can become your guys' idea. That's the only way it'll work.
Now we're back to the ink pen.
I was just going to
This
say
is
that.
Sam and the ink pen at
Yeah.
Journeys again.
You're someone that
Shout
you
out,
can.
Sam.
Yeah.
You think, when's the last time you saw Sam?
Last time I saw Sam was I was a junior in high school. I got
Like
the
a
job when
year
I was
ago?
a freshman. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
She's a baby compared to me.
I'm 22 years old, by the way.
Well, it wasn't that long ago.
So Sam is
There's a chance Sam's still at Journeys.
No,
For sure.
Sam's
No.
not at
Never mind,
Journeys.
sorry.
So it's a conversation for another day. I just found this out myself. But
gosh, you have new info on Sam.
yeah.
I can't wait
I
to
mean,
hear
I
it.
pretty much keep in touch with everybody that I encounter in my life. I like to see change. I like to see the difference. I like to see how far I've come, and I love to see other people, come a long way as well. I like to say, "Hey, you look good. It looks like you're a lot happier." And a lot
love
of
it.
people like to hear that.
Yeah,
I know
me
I like
too.
to hear it. So
During your answer, we're kind of goofing around here, but you said something serious I'd like to ask about, which was the assigning of roles and how when you came on, Fury's doing everything. How did you delineate what you wanted to assign to your director of operations and what you would hold on to? I think that would be beneficial to a lot of VCG employees that might hear this.
I mean, I don't think I did it very well at first.
Never mind then.
Yeah. No, I was very against
Kidding.
bringing on someone new just since I started it from the beginning with Philip. Like,
Yeah.
I kept giving him pushback on that. But Jamaica was new, but she wasn't new. She had started.
You did it well. Stop being
Yeah.
modest. Be
well,
serious.
I know, right? I can't wait to object everything she's about
She
to
has
say.
you guys have a massively successful office. How did you assign those roles?
I really don't even know how we assigned it. I mean, there's things I know that are not my strong points that are her strong points. So it was kind of just like an easy switch because it's something that she's a lot better at than me, and a lot more comfortable with. So a lot of, she has great relationships with certain clients. She has great relationships with certain professionals that we work with. So it's just made sense to have her dealing with them instead of, maybe dealing with me. She's more organized. I think I'm organized, but it's an organizational mess.
She has about 60 different tabs in her email for what you guys send. VA referrals, podcast information, passport information, RJ report, everything. So do not let her tell you she's not organized. She's the most organized person I know.
You know what my number one memory, if you say Fury in my head, you know what I see?
What?
A bag of yellow Starburst. First time I met her in person, I went to the old Dayton office and I walked in and sitting on her desk was my least favorite of all the Starburst, yellow. But there was a bag, I don't know. There must
Like
have
a
been
huge
Yeah, there must have been
bag.
150 yellow. And I was just like, I throw those away. Like, it's my least favorite of all the Starbursts. And she exclusively eats yellow Starbursts, which I thought was phenomenal.
Can you buy them like that, or did you have to sort them out?
Well, I got them as a gift. So apparently you can buy anything on Amazon. And my daughter's the same way, only the yellow.
Yeah.
So
What is it? Lemon?
Lemon.
Bananas?
Yep.
Lemon?
Yeah.
lemon,
I knew
not
that
banana.
about you, actually. We talked
Yeah.
about this. I didn't know that
Yeah.
part of this story, but yeah.
I mean, lemon Sour Patch Kids, lemon Starbursts, lemon. I don't know anything lemon,
Anything lemon. She likes.
but only
you go to a
lemon.
restaurant, you get your water with a lemon.
Actually, I don't like my water
What?
with lemon, but I like to eat the lemon on the side by itself.
That's like the only time anybody uses a lemon. and
No,
that's the
I'd
one time
rather
you
just
don't.
eat it by itself. But
Well, you know what's funny? Your answer to how you assign those roles, such a Jeff Stevens answer. Not that much intention behind it.
Yeah.
Just kind of naturally made sense and worked out. And then all the tabs in your folders and your email and stuff. It's exactly how I have everything too.
Yeah,
we
well,
might
to
be
be
the same human
honest,
being.
I thought I need someone younger in the office because they're going to be more computer savvy and everything,
Yes,
and
yes.
she is not.
Oh,
She's too young. She's at the age now where everything's made too easy. So it's like that
Yeah.
gap in between where I still have to be tech support.
Pretty much, yeah. Fury,
Bum,
how
bum,
do I
ba-bum.
this ADP? How do
She
I?
didn't learn Microsoft Office in school where I did.
Nope. We
There
use
is.
Google everything.
There is a gap there.
Yeah.
anybody ever tell you that you have the coolest name of all time?
Never.
Fury Kuzma?
Yeah.
That's freaking A+ right there.
I bet we've said
Nobody's
that.
ever
Yeah.
told you that?
Well, no. Yeah, I hear it.
I was
Well,
gonna
I
say,
either
no
hear
way.
good things or
Yeah.
bad things. I think a lot of times people tell me it's a great name because what else are you going to say?
Yeah.
It's very different.
Oh, it's
very,
awesome. Yeah.
very different.
Well, my maiden, because I have my ex-husband's last name, but my maiden last name was Sinato.
Fury.
So, no matter what name I've had, no one knows how to spell it, pronounce it. Everyone thinks I'm not from the United States.
That would,
That
Where do
makes
they
sense.
think you're from?
So I grew up actually in Poland, Ohio, which is a suburb of Youngstown. So
Yeah.
everyone thinks I'm when I used to travel for work, they thought I was coming from Poland, the country. Then they meet me and they're like, oh, it's not what I expected.
You have sort of a Central European vibe, I guess. Central
Yeah.
yeah.
is Fury
I
a
don't know.
family name? Or
It's
where
not
did
that hard
name
to
come from?
No. So I almost wish I had a cool story.
Yeah.
I really want to make one up, but I haven't made up the perfect one in my head yet. But my mom just said she liked it. I think there's a story behind it and she just won't tell me.
I see.
But she just said she liked it as a girl's name.
Wow, we got to get to the bottom of that.
Have you ever
No.
met another Fury?
No.
Huh.
We gotta make that happen.
I know.
We gotta
Why
make that
hasn't
happen.
anyone named their kid Fury in this day
I don't
and
know.
age?
If I have an accident, she'll be Fury.
You never know.
Don't do don't do that. Don't do that to someone. I wouldn't wish that on someone.
It wouldn't
It was
surprise
once
me.
very cool.
Wait 10, 20 years, it'll be the number one name. That's how those things go. Yeah, it's a cool name.
It is.
Well,
Super
it's fine now that I'm older, but growing up, everyone had Jessica, Stephanie, Jennifer.
Fury.
Fury, way,
Yeah.
way cooler.
Yeah, you're not finding that
I
on
couldn't
a
get the license plate. You
Right.
couldn't just go online and order a Fury license plate like you can now
Yeah.
for your bicycle.
I get it.
Well, whenever I was a kid, the most popular, I think, or at least in recent years, boy name has been Noah, right? Pretty popular boy's name. When I was a kid, if there would have been some kid in school named Noah, you know how much fun that kid would have got made fun of? I mean, what did you do? Get off the ark? I mean, that's all you'd heard.
Yep.
And now it's number one. Those things come and go.
Yeah.
I'm going to predict right now, Fury, top
Well,
name soon.
I get called furry a lot. Everyone puts the extra R in there.
Well, I accidentally did it once during this episode.
Oh,
but
did
It was a
you?
complete
Yeah.
misspeaking. I know your name.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
it's
get
just easy
furry
to
a
say
lot.
sometimes. Sorry. I corrected myself
Kind of
very
makes me
quickly.
nervous for my name.
You're good. Jamaica, good
They-
name too.
Yeah, it's a
they
great name.
they spell it so funky.
I'll give you something crazy.
What is it?
Aaron, you know what his folks call him? Matt.
It's true.
Is your middle name Matthew?
It is.
Okay.
So the entire dad's side of the family refers to me exclusively as Matt. They're only ones. No one outside of my dad's family calls me that.
Are you an Aaron Jr.?
Nope.
Or no?
Nope. They originally, in 1985, things weren't as medically advanced. So the ultrasound, they thought that I was a girl. So they'd settled on the name Aaron. My dad had already pictured his daughter named Aaron. I come along and he's like, yeah. And my mom's like, it's a universal name. We'll just switch the spelling. My dad had already settled on that being a girl name. So I was born. He called me Matt. And
that suddenly makes all sense. Because he was associating Aaron with his girl.
Yeah.
And so now here you are, Matt.
Here I am as
Now
Matt.
I get it.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
can you believe we've come to the end of this podcast?
I know. How many minutes do you think it's been?
Well, I looked, so
You
I
can't
don't want to
guess.
cheat.
Can you guess?
I was watching the whole time.
I'm always
Well, cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for making the trip down from Dayton. Thank you for first-time West Virginia visitors coming to the home office, getting out of your comfort zone and agreeing to come on the podcast day and sharing some of the cool parts about Village Caregiving Dayton. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Yep.
awesome.
Congrats on that new office.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
OH.